welcome to Edison Open House Global Health Forum 2022. In this session, we're going to look at the work of Volpara, a company developing AI-powered software for the earlier detection of cancer. And I'm joined by its CEO, Dr. Ralph Highnam. Hello, Ralph.
Hi, Vivian. What wonderful to be here today.
Now, you specialize in breast cancer screening techniques using AI. It's quite a busy sector. There are a lot of companies involved here. What singles out your offer, and what does it give, or what is it particular benefits for clinicians and for patients?
Yeah, so just tracking back a little bit, Vivian, I did my PhD at the University of Oxford in the 1990s. So behind Volpara and behind our technologies, 30 years of experience of not just research, but also clinical utility of AI. And really what makes Volpara stand out from everyone else out there is a couple of things. One is we have a full product suite. We don't just sell one solution to deal with one particular problem with breast imaging. We actually sell a range of products. And the more these products integrate with each other, the more compelling and more useful they become. But secondly, then we've used all that experience over the last 25, 30 years in this space to build solutions which really work in practice. And as I'm sure you're aware, one of the big issues with AI in general is something called generalizability, which means that you train your AI at one site and then it's very difficult to make it work down the road. Volpara has overcome all that, and we're now present in 39 countries around the world and cover around 1 in 3 breast cancer screenings in the US.
Now, the particular issue in breast cancer screening is breast density. And just to remind people, the younger you are, the more dense your breasts are. And there's also variations with BMI, and to some extent, particularly for Asian women with ethnic background. But what does your solution offer in this particular problem?
Yep, I'm glad you brought up the topic of breast density. We are with over 400 publications now in the breast density space. We are the world leader really about the objective measurement of breast density. Radiologists can judge. They're the people that look at x-rays to try and see signs of breast cancer. They can judge breast density by eye, but they're very, very, very subjective, and 2 experts will only agree 65% of the time. So Volpara's solution provides not just a very kind of coarse, dense or fatty, which is what radiologists do. We actually provide hard physical measurements of the breast tissue, and from that quantify breast density. So we provide volume of breast, we provide the volume of dense tissue, we provide the overall ratio, which is the percentage of dense tissue, and from that you get to a category of breast density in A, B, C or D. So Vivian, we going back to how you started that conversation just then, if you track over time, for example, one of Volpara's great interests is tracking change over time. And as you touched on there, it's a subject which people really don't understand much about at all at the moment. So as you said, women it's perceived now, and our measurements are starting to show women peak in breast density around the age of 25 or so. There's a slow decrease, and then over menopause, there's a bigger drop, and then there's a slow decrease again. So we're all out now to prove, using some of our 50 million plus images that we've got in the cloud, exactly how the breast normally changes. And one of our hopes as a very scientifically research-based company is to come through and start to say to people, hey, look, this is normal change. Your breast is not changing normally. We need to investigate whether it's hormone replacement therapy or something else that's going on in your life that's potentially increasing your risk of breast cancer because your density is increasing. So our role in that is objective quantitative measurements, and we have a huge amount of clinical evidence now sitting behind what we do.
And of course, you've got your 10-year-long DENSE trial as well. How does that help your marketing, and what are the current commercial opportunities that are arising?
Yep, that's a great question. So just going back, I mean, one of the issues with AI in general is people will they'll develop an algorithm, they'll run it on their own data set, they'll publish it, and they'll claim job done. Whereas Volpara has taken the view from day one, coming back really to my time at the University of Oxford, is we're a science company, we're going to put this out there, it's going to be independently tested. And for that reason, many big trials right around the world, including trials like PROCAS up in Manchester and elsewhere, and then the DENSE trial over in the Netherlands, have chosen Volpara as their breast density partner of choice. That was an incredible study. It was a 10-year randomized control study. I remember talking to investors many years ago, telling them we were going to do a 10-year study. It wasn't going to pay us much money at the time. In 10 years' time, they'll get some results out. Got a few interesting looks there, but I think most investors realize this is healthcare, this is how it works. And investors today are really starting to see the benefit now of that study, because it's 10 years, it's randomized controlled trial, use Volpara to select which women should go on for breast MRI. And they use it to select extremely dense breasted women. And the results were pretty amazing. And they selected something like 80 or 90, or they found about 80 or 90 extra invasive cancers. But also they really showed a really dramatic reduction in interval cancer, which is the nasty ones that occur between
so the interval
screenings.
cancers, the ones that develop between one breast screening and the next breast screening.
Yeah, so they showed that using Volpara in extremely dense breasts, you could almost remove those interval cancers for those women, which is just a fantastic result. And for us as a company, scientifically, it was fantastic, but also we're really focused on making an impact around the world. And it was just a great example of the impact that we as a company can make when you look at the numbers and lives saved coming out of that study. Now, commercially, if you look at the world, it's kind of split into the US, which is mostly private clinics, kind of run under the auspices of the FDA. But then outside the US, it's predominantly it's public screening programs. And those programs are proven to save lives. Some of the latest studies have said 50% reduction in breast cancer deaths because of screening. But there's ways to optimize it, and they know that. But they'll only because they're doing so well already. They only change with major studies like the DENSE trial and like the randomized control studies. So as soon as that was published about a year ago or 18 months ago, we started to get a lot more attention right around the world from public screening programs, knowing that they've got problems with women with breast density, and actually using that study to try and work out, okay, what can we do to help these women? So it's certainly starting to generate now a lot of interest around the world. And on the back of that, we signed up 2 public screening programs in Australia, one of which went live about 4 weeks ago with our software. So yeah, it's a real landmark for us, and it's really opened up the whole public screening sector right around the world.
So you partner with the screening or the health authorities rather than with the equipment manufacturers, because I'm presuming your software is attached to whatever system of imaging that is being used by a particular health provider.
Yeah, well, going back to some of the core reasons why Volpara is ahead of all the competition is from day one. We started the company, and our view was we wanted to be able to track women over time. And so we took the viewpoint, okay, we're going to track women over time and flag up dangerous changes in breast tissue. What if a woman is imaged on GE 1 year, CMAs the next, and Hologic the year after? So we took the viewpoint from day one. We were going to be multi-vendor. Our software was going to work on any X-ray machine, and that's exactly what we got FDA clearance from. So now it doesn't matter which X-ray machine is used. So we're completely X-ray machine agnostic. We sell it. We are a software company. We don't sell hardware, but it's very easy for us to integrate them with any X-ray machine anywhere in the world, fundamentally.
Now, the FDA is working on some specific breast density legislation. How is that going to affect Volpara?
Yep, some background there, Vivian. The breast density laws across the states now, 38 states in the US have laws saying that after an X-ray, the woman must be told her breast density. The FDA has looked at the 50 years of evidence now around breast density, and they've looked at these state laws and they've said, this is important information, women deserve to know it. but we need to standardize these laws. We need to standardize the language, and we need to get that out there. 2 years ago, they put the wording out, and it was meant to be rubber stamped in October 2020. Unfortunately, for women in the US in particular, October 2020 saw some rather big elections in the US, the coronavirus, vaccines, and so on, and a change of administration. And that put the whole FDA law onto the back burner. They are working though behind the scenes on it, and there's a new FDA commissioner has come in now, so we expect progress on that. Commercially for us, it will put a huge amount more attention on doing breast density reporting across the US and doing it properly and doing it accurately. So that's where Volpara, with its leading automated objective density scoring, is really going to come into its own.
Now, you're also venturing into lung cancer. I mean, again, that's an area of a lot of activity, particularly with AI-powered software. How does your technology fit here, and what does the competition look like? Just very briefly.
Yeah, we've been in lung cancer imaging for 2 years now with a patient tracking system, which covers between 5, 6, 7% of the US market. We are just positioning ourselves at the moment, Vivian, for lung cancer screening. We are screening experts, so the move from breast to lung makes a lot of sense. But the key thing for us was that the technology stack we use in breast, from patient tracking to risk assessment to computer-aided detection and AI, is very similar to what you need in lung. So that is why we're taking a very close look at it, and we are partnering in that area to really start to bring some of our technology, some of our insights into that world to, again, try and make an impact and make a difference.
So you're going into several different areas at the moment. Volpara Club, various electronic health records initiatives. So this does require quite a bit of investment. So can you tell investors more about these initiatives? Again, just briefly, if you would, and how this is going to strengthen your overall offering.
Yep. So yeah, we're in a fantastic position in the US at the moment. We have a lot of momentum. About 1 in 3 women get breast cancer screening done using Volpara, but we are a software as a SaaS company, and the next range of kind of innovation and growth is going to come from a couple of places. One is this fantastic user base we've got. So Volpara Club is about building up that user base and getting customers talking to each other, sharing best practices, but also effectively selling to each other as well. And that's going to lead to increased sales into the install base, which in turn will increase our ARPU. And then the other area of big growth, obviously, is going to be new sales. And that's where our platform and our general approach to provide one big offering to users is really going to play out well. And a key part of that is going to be working closely with some of the big electronic health record vendors as a channel to market.
Now, finally, can you share with investors the company events that they should look out for in the upcoming year?
Yep. So just in terms of events, we just had our biggest event, which is RSNA, so our big trade show over in Chicago. Obviously the numbers were way down compared to normal, but the quality was very high. We're now on the back of that, we now come into what is our biggest commercial quarters, Q3, Q4, leading up to the end of the financial year, end of March. So look out for our Q3 results, end of January, financial year results shortly after. But then in between that, we've got some big software releases. We are moving more and more to help empower women with information about breast density, about breast cancer. So you're going to see some releases of our software more directly focused around women. You're going to see a big software release really integrating a lot of our breast cancer risk work. You're going to see more partnerships. We'll see when the FDA comes out with that announcement. No promises on timelines. It's out there, and we do expect it to happen. And that's all building up, Vivian, to our second biggest trade show, which is European Congress on Radiology in March, which is in Vienna, although it's likely to be held virtually this year. So a lot of activity coming up, and we're just looking forward to getting into those strong quarters and announcing those results and making an impact on women right around the world.
So a very exciting year coming up for you at Volpara. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Dr. Highnam. Thank you so much.
Cool, thank you.